They banned me, haven't they? So I've got 3 days. I've got another day left.
3 days.
Yeah, that Francis leader, she's either government or Facebook, mate. She's spun me. I remember a couple of years ago she done similar sort of thing, and I banned her and blocked her. But then she managed to creep back on my stuff. I'm like, really? But I'm at a point with Facebook now. I don't really. I'm not enjoying it. It seems oppressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be nice to have another platform, a different platform, really, to do all this. I'm sick of Facebook and the thing is, I messaged them. I said, "Why? What?" And they've not replied to me. I'd like to know who it is behind the scenes that's doing all this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No,
no,
I
they
agree.
won't reply. Disgusting.
How annoying. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, there are other things that are coming up. There's something called Minds, which is another YouTube platform. There's something else called I can't remember what it's called now, but it's another Twitter platform. And there was another platform in Russia which is similar to Facebook, which there is no well, so they say, no censorship, but you know what
Yeah.
goes on there. No, I mean, what? So what? There was two reasons why I was trying to set that other thing up. One is because it's a new platform that allows you to do a split screen onto
Yeah.
Facebook with both your names underneath. You can put an agenda up. You can people can see the questions coming up, and so can we. We can have a private chat in the background, and you can make the whole thing into like a mini show if you like. But
Gotcha.
if you're if you're banned, it's probably why you stop. But I'm gonna try after this. I'm gonna try it out with someone else who's on Facebook. Like, I've got people who are
Yeah.
sending me voice messages now because it broadcast the fact that it was. I set that up last night, and it broadcast the fact that it was going out at 8 p.m. So, but I mean, obviously, no one's to know that you've been banned. But that, I mean, the quick thing is, I was going to have a quick discussion so people can see us talking about it, which was that on people's trust. So the answer to that is, I've looked through it, and like I said, we had a brief discussion the other night, but I think all the hard work's been done, and I do think they're worried, and I don't think they like it. And I think one of the things that we all keep emphasising here is what you're not doing the first bit. They've already done it for you, and they cannot rebut the two major points in what they serviced on the court in the US, and because it's what's known as UCC or Universal Commercial Code, which is basically international law, and it hasn't been rebutted, that means it becomes law.
That's right.
And that trust stands, and it stands for the people.
Well, the reason why she did it in UCC was because we've all been moved into the UCC. That's what the birth certification is. It's all UCC. So that's why Heather did it in the UCC. I'm in touch with Heather, having messages. She's a beautiful soulmate. She's really good. It's because my friend come round here the other week. She asked me to look after her Porsche because it was being eyed up outside her house. It was a Ferns car. They let her have it for a month. What do you make of the OPPT, Gray? Do you think it's good, isn't it?
Well, I think it's more than good, and there's plenty of people that have been want to do it, but are worried about losing their benefits, losing this, and from what I've read, it doesn't affect anything like that. Basically,
Just
what it's doing, it's about. So we recently done a video on Motivate Radio about collectivism being a bad thing. So in other words, socialism, communism, Fabianism, all those things which take away the individual's rights, right?
absolutely.
That's why it's negative. That's why it's bad, right? So common law and if you like God's law, the individual is responsible for himself, and
That's right.
the individual is responsible. You will not cause harm or injury to anyone else. And as long as you abide by common law, yeah, there should never be any major issues. As long as you don't commit fraud or lie to people financially, etc., then you're not causing harm or injury.
That's right.
And one of the things I normally try and say to people is, I believe in liberty, and your liberty stops where my nose starts. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
What I've seen from the documentation, and yes, I do believe it works, it has been written in such a way that it ties them up in knots. The legal terms used is using their system against them. But what I was trying to do, if I explain to you what I think it is, then you tell me whether I've got that right or not, because you've got more experience with it. But basically, this is what the situation is. The first lot of documents, which people haven't got to worry about, that's a foreclosure on all corporations. And one of the things I was going to say to people, Bradstreet. The major point is, and this is sort of leaning towards what I said to you a long time ago, this is, if you like, an extension of John Harris. John Harris defined the nature of the cage and what they was doing. And if you watch his videos, they'll come up and he shows you that these people are corporations and we are therefore their capital, right? Or we are the people that are being farmed to supply them with money, right?
Chattel.
Yeah. So on the other side of the fence, John done a fantastic job of researching and finding out and looking through the old law books and Blackstones and working out what all this meant for us. And it upset him, because I used to watch the videos and you could see he was physically upset and drained at times. The reason why I say this is an extension is because Heather has actually highlighted that in the first lot of documents that have been put into the court. She's more or less said exactly and confirmed what John Harris was saying. The difference is she's created a trust to bring us, the people, under the protection of that trust, because they cannot rebut it. It's been made in, and we're fighting them back with their own laws or their own
trust
system.
Law is the highest form of law. Trust is the highest form.
Right.
Highest form of law, trust law. That goes alongside with equity. Now, Lisa Tanner, she sat with two Clips barristers at the Rolls building 2 years ago at Fetter Lane, the Royal Courts of Justice, a new one.
Yeah.
She laid her birth certificate in front of them two barristers and she said, "Is this a bond?" And they went, "Yeah. Can I discharge all debts against this?" And they went, "Yes, you can." And she was like, "I knew it. So that's what it's all about. And the thing is, the guy that I've been chatting to the last few days, Alan, who's getting these cars and that, he's turned around and said that you can get what they call the birth extract, which has just got your details on it. Now, when social services take kids off of families, they're using the extract. When you get a mortgage, they use the extract because it takes two to make a contract. So they need just you, because when you've got your parents on it, apparently it's got controversy.
Yeah.
But regardless of all that, any of these birth certificates are what they call a performance contract. So when they don't perform and act in your interests, on the back of a lot of these bonds, it says their indemnities, 40 million quid.
Yeah.
So if you feel that your estate ain't being administrated properly by these people and you want to say, well, hang on a minute, I want to know what's going on. If they fail in their duty, under that performance contract, you say, well, hang on, you're liable for 40 million quid if you don't play ball. Give me the details. I want to know about it.
Yeah.
And we're tying them up now. I'm now putting all the little loose ends together, and I think things are getting beautiful. And listen, right, I do lots of stupid little videos. We have our little rants, we don't see a green screen behind you. Why did Frances Leader jump on me quite like she did? It's because she don't want me talking about that OPPT stuff.
I agree entirely.
And because Facebook, they said, right, you're getting a 3-day ban, and we might ban you indefinitely if you carry on. And I'm thinking, sugar lumps. I've stumbled on something here. They're trying to silence it all down. They're trying to silence it down.
No. Well,
Yeah.
partly. Right. So there's a deeper strategy for me on this. Yeah. I have got absolute contempt for our banking system, which is a fraud on the people. The central banking system that we now operate is a complete and utter fraud, right? That without any doubts. And I believe a lot of the problems that they're causing the world now are to distract us because we have started to learn. I mean, there's videos online now, some of the best videos I've ever watched on the banking system and how it works, that have had 6 and 7 million views. Not a couple of hundred views. So people are getting it. They know people are getting it. Yeah, and it's going to take down their system. Now, what this, as far as I can see, so what I want to try and get over to people, if I'm right, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is about individuals. So because this first lot of documentation went in and it wasn't rebutted, in other words, they couldn't argue against it, so it's now become law, and that trust now protects us. What you're doing, when you put a courtesy notice in, you're actually informing people, I am part of this trust. I am under their umbrella, and this, so you have to wait because, so someone makes a demand on you. They will send it through the post. It might be council tax. It could be a VAT. It could be anything. It doesn't matter what. Any corporation. All corporations have been brought down. That's it. They don't exist. Right.
That's right.
So as soon as someone makes a formal application or even an informal one, that person is then acting as an individual because of what's been done with the first bit of paperwork. So what you do then is you get their name, you then send that courtesy notice off, which is the first point to say this is what they do, and we're just responding in kind. There's the courtesy notice and you put their name on it. That means they are personally liable if they persist. Right?
Absolutely.
So if they send you another one, the next courtesy notice goes out, and on there it gives your full terms and conditions of engaging with them. You are then writing out a contract with and on that contract it says on there what your fees are.
That's right.
So your fees could be £10,000 for talking to you on the phone, £20,000 for sending you a letter, blah 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 blah. But because they've ignored the first one, they've in effect agreed to enter into a contract with you, and you send a second one. You send that one in, which has got your terms and conditions on it, and what you're going to charge them, bearing in mind you've got this other thing that's already gone in, and then the final thing to do is to put in the final notice, and the final notice basically is putting them in default, because, which is another courtesy notice, because they haven't paid you and giving you money from your second one, which is your terms and conditions.
Mate, is this what you do for a living? Are you a bit of a contract man then?
I've been in business quite a bit of my time. I can read contract and I completely understand what them first documents were saying. And soon, because I'll let you into a secret. Years and years ago, I used to be seriously into banking, right? And if you know anyone who knows me, they'll tell you a bit more about it. But I also used to read all the law books and commercial law on banking. I also used to read up on. I mean, I knew about the Bank of International Settlements 20, 25, 30 years ago. I knew how SWIFTs work. I knew how it functioned. I knew that if a bank, there were certain things like in the City of London, they used to have something called a T-bar account. If you looked in the top right-hand corner of a cheque in the City of London, if it's got a T in it, they'll pay that cheque within 2 hours.
Wow.
Right? So if you had an account in the City of London and your mate's got an account in the City of London and he writes you a cheque, you walk straight in there like that, it's cleared. Bang, done. Because of the way their system works. Now, what you've got to understand is, in effect, part of this original trust document, and there's two elements of it, and it was extremely important. The first, basically, was to say, there was two major points. The first major point was that the corporations, the banking system, etc., have committed fraud against us. I mean, not in them words exactly. I haven't got it in front of me to read it out. The second point was that you stand before your creator and not them, basically. And they can't rebut that. And if they want to rebut the first point, they would then have to be challenged, because what these people who have written this, they understand commercial law, banking law, and understand that we're all being defrauded. And they don't want to bring them people to the challenge, because otherwise the whole thing goes bang. And then the second point is, how can anyone, bearing in mind the amount of I don't know, how our world is structured, and has been structured for thousands of years on religion, yeah, which is a control mechanism as well, for them to rebut that there is someone between you and your creator, no one would accept that.
No. Well, my first courtesy notice went out last week. He's gone up to the passport office, because the one that I've got runs out in 2017 in August, which ain't too far away, and I'm off to Morocco in June. So I've wrote to them with a courtesy notice saying you need to give me something to travel on, just a little covering letter. I've got a sloppy email within next to no time saying you need to go online and pay 72 quid. So I've then sent out another one. I've had them both signed for. It was signed for today. And then I'll be sending out the third and final one to get them in tacit agreement, probably early part of next week. After that's happened, I might give them a quick ring and say, well, look, hang on a minute. Your government, and they say yes. Say, right, government's got a fiduciary duty not to harm a man. So you're now harming a man. I've got you in tacit agreement. I don't want to have to claim on your bonds, but if I have to, I will. You don't have the right to stop me from travelling. No. Because it's entrapment, Graham. Because they won't let me travel the world unless I pay them 72 quid. Well, they've not got the right to stop me from travelling. And I'll end up having to go up to the London office, I think. If they don't play ball, I'll go up to the London office and I'll serve them there and then with a courtesy notice. I'll serve them there and then with the receipts and signed for slips. Say, listen, guys, I've got you in tacit now. I've got you in tacit, this ain't going to stop. And I want all your names and that, because you're denying me my God-given right to travel.
Yeah.
And they won't. They will. They're going to have to give me something. They will give me something. I'm not paying for it. Well, no, I'm not paying.
Well, let me put it to you like this. Yeah, if you decided to get on a log, yeah, and paddle across the channel to France, right? You've not used any other means other than what God has given us. Yeah.
That's right.
Who's got the right to say that you cannot step off on a French coast?
No one.
Exactly.
No one.
No, exactly.
And this is what we're all waking up to. This is what the courtesy notice is about. This is what the OPPT is about. The wording in them documents, I just think they're stunning. They're something else.
Yeah, no, I agree entirely.
And it's not about tying you in with the OPPT, because no one's claiming ownership of the OPPT. It's something that's been done. So basically, that reconnects each and every one of us to the creator, I guess. I'm just going to roll it out. I'm going to roll it out to all sorts of. My local council. They're going to be getting it soon, because my missus still pays. I can't stop her paying. It's the only thing she does. Because I said I'm not paying the council tax. She said, well, I'll pay it. I said, you've got to do what you've got to do. So I'm going to be rolling it out next week to Maidstone Borough Council, and I'm going to watch it all. In actual fact, I'm going to go down there, because my mate Chris, who's been doing the OPPT for 4.5 years, Chris Golly, he's an amazing guy. He says there's nothing better than actually taking it to these places, sitting with them, smiling, and just watching them melt in front of you when you serve them. He said, these people melt. Terry Seary, you can get hold of Terry. His nephew was facing a Crown Court case in Liverpool about 6 weeks ago. Terry served the courts with the OPPT. He then went in on the day with a nephew. and the barrister's outside, and he served the barrister with the OPPT courtesy notice, and the barrister started doing a little chicken dance, and he said, right, now you've got that, do you have this man's best interests at heart, pointing to his nephew, and the barrister went, yes, of course I do. And Terry got out the lad's birth certificate, and he said, oh, is this the thing you're after, is this the value? And the barrister at this point is fucking freaking out, because Terry's done him. The barrister went running off with a few of them. An hour later, Terry and this lad get called into the courtroom. The judge is sat there up on his bench. The jury sat there waiting to go. The judge dismissed the jury and sent them home. And he said to the lad, case dismissed, thanks for your time, go and have a nice life.
Really?
Yeah. And then, a couple of weeks later, Terry was getting some trouble with his bank because he's on DWP, he's got bad back troubles, this, that, the other. He served his bank, his local branch, with the courtesy notice. The very next morning, within 24 hours, his bank manager's on the phone saying, what can we do for you, Tim?
Yeah.
So it does work. I've got a guy, Jack, when I get all back up online tomorrow night, I'll start a little group thing, and you can ask these people yourself, what successes have you had with these courtesy notices? He's driving around up north, served it, because the thing for me is it's your local police. You have to take the teeth out of the dog. So, and then once his teeth are out, all it can do is gnarl on your leg, and once it gets bored with that, it'll leave you alone. You have to serve the old bill, put them on notice with these courtesy notices, bang, 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 and then they know they can't interact with you.
Mm.
And you start getting chatting with Chris Golly. Chris served, it was his daughter. He went to the police station with the courtesy notices with her daughter to help her, and the inspector hid behind someone because he didn't want to deal with Chris. He said, he melted. Right now, these two lads yesterday that I'm telling you about with the cars.
Yeah.
This young, he's 29. He got the old bill round. Lee had a chat with him for about 20 minutes, all about the law, this, that, the other, and these coppers were smiling. He got these coppers. They offered to take him to where he wanted to go to get some inkjet cartridges or something. And when he got in the police car,
yeah,
he got in the passenger seat while the other ones got in the back. And this copper said seatbelt. He said, I don't consent. And the copper drove him to where he wanted to go without Lee putting his seatbelt on. Hell, all comes down to consent, Graham. It all comes down to consent.
I'll make you right, mate. All right, then.
I've for the last 7 years. I stumbled on John Harris about 7-8 years ago, and if I'm going to get, well, I don't think John's dead, because anyone I've ever asked, Dave Murphy, Roger Hayes, I know them all. What was John's funeral like? Oh well, and it's all, oh, we donated some money. I'm like, I reckon John just fucked off. I reckon he thought, shit, I'm going to get worked. I'm not too... And I don't know anyone that can confirm to me 100% they see him die and they went to his funeral. No one. And I ask questions. I say, and I reckon he's just got pissed off with it all. He was getting recognised everywhere he went. I think he just moved away and just... I don't know. Because if you remember, in a lot of his videos, and the one he did at Penzance, he turned around and said, I've got to commit internet suicide.
Well, no, I don't remember seeing that one, but I'll probably,
He on the Penzance, he said, I've got to commit internet suicide, and I didn't get what he meant at the time. But then when I heard about his death, I thought, yeah, that's internet suicide. Yeah, I know what you've done, John. I don't think he's dead. I don't get a vibe that man's dead. I think he's just naffed off somewhere. He's gone somewhere, and when all this comes out and everything sorts itself out, I think, John, you'll see pop back on the scene. I hope I'm right. I really do hope I'm right.
Yeah, no, I'll make you right.
So, we roll. We're rolling. We're doing stuff. Yeah, but I'm just gutted. I'm on a bit of a ban, but it's made me think about Facebook in a different light, really. With all the people you got following you, I've got just under 13,000 in total. You think to yourself, they're going to try and shut me down now. So I've got to be very careful what I do.
Yeah.
So I tried to open up another profile, and they're onto me straight away. They must be checking the MAP addresses or something. They say, no, we know you are. We're not letting you in. I'm like, what? I've never had this. I've never had this kind of censorship with Facebook. But that tells me I've stumbled on something.
No, I agree entirely. No, I agree. There are things going on at the moment. I mean, like I say, for me it gets deeper than this. I believe there's a lot of things going on in the world at the moment, and they are controlling and doing things to distract us from the real problem, which is the monetary system. Because they're conning us.
Everything. Banks control everything.
Yeah.